This is the urine therapy Q&A with our special guest today. And so folks who will be coming on, whoever may be joining us in a little bit, are welcome to ask questions. You guys are welcome to ask questions, pick our hearts, our brains, wherever you want to pick. And we'll help people to solve whatever it is. This is Tarita Cirque coming on. I met her through Telegram. Good morning. Welcome to the Q&A. They're going to get ready, flip things on. Now, I don't know if your life is going to go in the direction that mine has been going, but it's quite a ride. And sometimes I get unexpected calls from people in India and Africa and all kinds of places. They either want to talk about their health problem, they want to pick my brain, or this one guy decided he not only wanted to get to interview me and know who I was without asking for anything like that, but before I realized it, he turned his camera around and we were having this video in front of his students. So it can be a little bit awkward if you don't have the right communication set up with people. So that might happen to any one of you. Who knows? Tarika, where are you dialing in from? Rebecca is dialing in from Austin, Texas, which was an old home of mine about 30 years ago. Austin was quite a place back in the 1970s and 1980s before they built up. There used to be a time you could drive the roads to the hill country roads to go out to the lakes, and it was all hill. It was all country. It's all suburbs now. The same thing happened to Boulder. It became more like a mini Denver. So hopefully your towns can keep that old, natural, organic style without getting too built up and too city vibes going in there. So that's what I like about Kauai, because there's not much construction going on. If anybody wants to come do a retreat out here, that would be a whole lot of fun. And so at some point, I'm going to have it all put together so you guys will have a place to stay. We can arrange transportation. There's people have been showing up in my life that are awesome tour guides. This one gal who goes by the name of Shakina. Well, she goes by the name of Paradise. And she's from the Philippines, but she's lived here for 20 years, and she looks and feels Hawaiian, and she knows the back roads, the waterfalls, the canyons, and she took me on what she calls a Mahalo tour. And it's off the tourist maps and all kinds of places, and I would bring her in to take people on tours. If I didn't tell you already, I've located about 13 people who practice urine therapy on Kauai. So that's pretty exciting. 5 of them even knew who I was and had my books before I got here, and that was quite a humbling experience. People would show up on the streets and go, "You're Brother Sage." I go, "Yeah." "Oh, I know you." "Oh, okay, cool." It may happen to you, Gloria. Who knows? All of a sudden, people have been watching you and studying and learning from you and the different things you put on platforms, and they may just show up in your life one day.
They are.
They are.
That's awesome. It is humbling.
Very much so. So I put the link up for people who were last minute people who want to show up, so they may show up. Hopefully we've sorted out the folks with bad manners. Gloria and I learned that in our last event, that there are some people who disrespect what we're doing. They get off topic. They say things that are abusive to the ladies. So this is why we're doing registration and any form of donation, just so we can screen people. Was there anything going in the chats I need to know about? Wimberley. Oh, okay, they're over there. Okay. All right. Does anybody have any questions? And I don't know how long you guys have, but we'll just keep going for an hour or so. See how it fits in your life, in your scheduling. You want to start off with the communion?
Yeah.
This is the fun part. I would like to ask somebody different to lead the prayer. Any volunteers?
Is it your prayer, the prayer that you shared with us last time, or just any prayer?
Anything that your heart wants to say to honor this water and to give it the respect that it deserves.
Okay.
Would that be
Okay.
you?
I'll pray.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for providing us this way to keep our bodies healthy and strong and our minds sharp. I'm so grateful to be healed from not only the COVID shot, but all poisons that have been done to me my entire life. And I pray that you bring us all healing 100% of our bodies through the substance that you've created and you gave to us. We are so grateful for the healing and the energy and the strength that you give us every day. And help us grow stronger in trusting you and everything you've given us to stay healthy. Bless us, Lord. Bless our urine. And thank you so much for bringing us together. And in your name we pray, amen.
Amen. Now for Jessica and Eddie who don't have a jar, what some people do is they just do something symbolic. There we go. There we go. All right. So there has been questions upon questions about questions, and you're going to get this from people from every direction. Is urine therapy good for this condition, that condition? The list goes on and on and on. All right. I would suggest that you guys get really strong in your confidence and faith with this water, because no matter what they say, the answer is yes. The only thing which is on the Shivamba Wisdoms chart, if you guys haven't gotten a copy, let me know. I'll send it out to you. The only thing you cannot heal. Now, the same answer applies to not only what you can heal, but what you can achieve in life. The only thing you cannot heal is what you believe you cannot heal. There are no such thing as an incurable. The answer itself is within the body. The answer itself is yes, Rebecca. We'll get it out to you. Drop me your email, Rebecca. So when someone comes up to you and says, is it good for COVID? Is it good for diabetes? Is it good for Alzheimer's? Is it good for autism? Is it good for multiple sclerosis? Whatever the question is, it's a two-part answer. One is remind yourself, to remind them, you're not a certified medical person. You're not part of that system. So you can't you're not able to diagnose, make claims, etc. But what you can say, and you can come from the layman's approach, when someone says, is it good for this and that other thing, is you can simply say, and I learned this years ago in nutritional sales, I don't know about that. I do know that when I drink my water and I apply it topically, my health improves. Now, I've been doing a lot of body rubs and body massages throughout the last couple of weeks, and my hair keeps getting darker, which is great for someone who's about to turn 70. It's nice to be able to look young and healthy and feel it.
Yeah.
Right. So then the other approach is when someone says, will it heal cancer and AIDS, and will it heal this condition, that condition? The answer is also yes and a no. It can go both ways, because in order to achieve perfect health, you have to do a major lifestyle change. You've got to get really involved with a diet change, fasting, enemas, massages, exercise, and work on your emotional and mental well-being. Otherwise, it's going to be like a Band-Aid. It's going to be hit or miss what kind of results you get. So the people who are approaching it as a quick fix, you have to give them a little bit of in-depth teaching, so they'll get it doesn't work that way. Does that make sense? Plus, you're going to get the people who say, well, if I'm on medication, if I am on prescribed drugs, or if I'm still doing recreational drugs, we have some people who don't want to give up their wine or their alcohol. I would tell them, well, if you take the urine, if you do it on either side, like an hour on either side, your body won't go after it like it's an attack or a threat to you. and you'll be able to let it run its cycle. And little by little, what's going to happen is the brain chemistry and the craving for these things will fall away. And as an example, we've had people heal all kinds of addictions, from drug addiction to, three people told me they had pornography addiction, and they stopped watching, they stopped talking about it, and they noticed their quality of their friends changed. And so the people come to you and they say have addiction and will it help, and you can talk them through it, which is lovely to be able to give that kind of answer to people. Anybody have a question? Anybody have a question that somebody else asked you? Anybody talk about the midstream? Do people still asking that? Or the people say, well, I just do the morning collection and that's it? Well, occasionally you're going to get people say, well, I just do the morning and I feel satisfied and, that's it through the day. I said, well, you could bump it up. There's such thing as what I teach is called saturation dosing. And basically what that is increasing the use of both oral and topical applications so that you go deeper into the cells, you go deeper into the system to get the things that would take longer to clear out of the body because you didn't change anything else and you're just doing oral applications. So let people know that if you start increasing the topicals and make these other changes, it'll accelerate the healing. All right, now the reason it makes sense to some of us because we're operating another context than the medical model. The medical model would say follow the rules on the label, which is like how they dose out medicine and stuff. Well, this doesn't work that way because the nature of Shibambu is so well designed for our body. There's no side effects. There's no after effects. There's no ill effects. So there's no way you can OD on drinking yourself. That's a good metaphor.
The more, the better.
The more, yeah, you can never love yourself too much.
There's a question Rebecca has in the chat.
Okay, what is it? There it is. So my husband has a chronic painless hemorrhoid. Is that liver related? It depends. Is it in the bowel? We should use the urine on Teflon as well as drinking. Yeah, you should use it both ways. He eats well, even great, but this is not getting better with topicals or homeopathics. Okay, well, most hemorrhoids are going to be in the rectum, are going to be in the bowel. So if it's somewhere else, that could indicate where it is. I would love to talk to Rebecca if you ever want to just have a one-on-one with me. It's in the anus, yeah. Because when people say they eat well, they eat healthy, and you guys know this in your own diet and other people you talk to, that's all relative. Because the people who are happy with their food and don't want to change it, they can simply justify whatever they're eating and even binging on good vegan food to justify what they're eating. That doesn't mean they're eating well. Are they eating too much? Are they not chewing well? Are they eating late at night? I mean, there's a lot of factors to consider other than just putting into a blanket statement, I eat well. So we have to look at all kinds of different ways people eat. All right, Rebecca doesn't want to be on screen, but that's okay. Yes, folks identify with the food. Yeah, we do. See, one of the things that we're dealing with here on planet Earth in 2023 is all forms of slavery. We're not just dealing with mental slavery and how our minds have been programmed, our body has been infected with all kinds of contaminants, but one of the things they've built into us as a culture is food slavery. They put chemistry in our food, we got addicted to it. They put it in the fast foods, we got addicted to it. They put it into all kinds of things. And right now, what's his name, Mr. B. Gates, is trying to make laboratory grown fruits and vegetables to put on the market. So we got to do the best we can with our food sources and make good choices. Eddie, go ahead. Jess?
Yeah, Sage, I have a personal experience with the I guess mine wasn't necessarily painless, but I would call it a prolapse if it's sticking out of the anus.
Mhm.
And I had that reoccurring for a couple of years. I haven't had it happen in about a year or so, so I would believe that I'm starting to make the proper changes in my lifestyle overall. But one of the things that really helped me was doing Urine enemas, and holding it in as long as I could. That was able to clear a lot of heat out of my body, and also give me a lot of relief and make it go away, along with just a couple dietary changes as well. And working on my, emotional and mental well-being, and maintaining a positive and calm attitude throughout the day, I think has helped me quite a bit, because I haven't had any reoccurrence of that, but that was going on for a couple years with me, and so yeah, I just wanted to mention that.
Thank you. Metaphysically, now I do a lot of I'm a student of Louise Hay. You guys heard of her? All right, so she wrote the book which became a classic, Heal Your Body. It was a little blue book. It was like my Bible for years. So what she was teaching when she was alive was the connection between our belief systems, our thoughts, our patterns in our thinking, and our illnesses. And so when it comes to intestinal issues, gut issues, it's also dealing with how much we guard our emotions, how much we protect ourselves from the so-called threats and attacks of other people. So sometimes we're tight asses, and that can affect your ability, and you get constipated because of emotions and because of belief systems. So the more you can do breath work, the more you can do Shivambu, the more you can meditate, the more you can get barefoot in nature, get your hugs every day, you can relax and be more at ease with how things show up in your life. And I too had that, Eddie. I had that prolapse thing going on. It was difficult sometimes to have bowel movements, and I was doing a lot of Urine enemas, to clear that out. And occasionally I had blood that would come out, but it didn't last. It wasn't like I was bleeding out, and it gets a little scary. So yeah, I feel for you. And all these things change in time. When you're going through it, you really don't know who to talk to. And this is probably why I get a lot of calls. Good question. Anybody else have another question or comment?
So lately, I've been getting a lot of, so the people that still aren't willing to try urotherapy, their go-to right now telling me is urotherapy is not the magic bullet, but it is. I'm sorry, but I am a firm believer of that, because I've already gone through so many therapies myself, and I'm watching other people go through therapies and not healing completely. But then the ones that are actually trying urotherapy, including myself, I've completely healed since I did urotherapy. And now I'm watching others have the same testimony, like Josephine and Nancy also have been through many, many therapies, and now finally starting to heal. They'll be the next ones that heal completely, because they're putting their faith in God and doing the urotherapy consistently.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, I don't know, that when people want to tell me that it's not the magic bullet, I'm like, yeah, it is. That's just really what I believe.
Well, you also have direct experience, like everybody on the screen, or most of the people on the screen. And our job is not to convince anybody.
Yeah.
What they're gonna feel from you, and what they're going to receive from you, is going to have to be from them watching you get healthier. The people who've been with you for a while will notice that you seem to be looking great, and you're radiating, and your energy is strong, and you're getting a lot done. Right? The people who are sick can't do that. Yeah. I mean, it almost feels like we got superpowers.
Amen. Yes. I've never felt this great. Yeah.
Now, if you're a devotee, and this is, I'm constantly talking spiritual talk, so is Gloria. If you're a devotee, you have it, you have your urine stored everywhere. I have it in the car. I've got 2 quarts in the car. I've got a spray bottle. I've got this 1 quart spray bottle in the shower. So when I'm in there, you just shower everything down. I get these little capillary bursts. Have you seen these on people? Right? It's called a capillary burst. It's a name like popula, whatever it is. See that? Okay. They say that people over 50, their skin gets a little thinner and they barely touch something and it discolors and it bursts the capillary. Well, boom, you put on fresh or aged urine in 4 days, it's always healed.
Can you run through that process of using your urine in the shower?
Yeah.
Do you like use soap and then urine, or do you just use urine and that's it?
Hold on. Talk to yourself.
I've always wondered. I hear everybody talking about using urine in the shower.
Yeah, your shower, unless you're able to turn your hi Tarika, unless you have the your own place or you have an understanding housemate who happens to be in the same lifestyle, you can turn your room and your bathroom into a Shivambu spa. You know, some people like Matt Senna, he'll leave the urine in the bathtub for 4 or 5 days, and his girlfriend will jump in the bath. Our friend David Townsend went to visit him in New York. He was bathing in his water. So there's that. So I have one of these in the shower, right? Whether you want to use city water or not, that's optional. So when you spray yourself down, right, you can spray it on the parts that need more than anything else and just lightly rub it in, right? Some people, like there's a beautiful sister named Ma Devi out in France. She hasn't used city water in 20 years. She'll just stand in the shower and do all this stuff or go outside and rub all the urine all over her and just let it dry. Right? Since I have a housemate who's cool with it, I don't have to like walk around and go, oh, do I smell like ammonia? Do I smell like pee? No, that doesn't seem to be a factor here. And some people are starting to see that the ammonia smell evaporates or outgasses quite shortly.
It does. So then you just use that in the shower, kind of let it dry a little and get out.
Yeah, or if I'm doing some breath work inside the bathtub, you know, I'm a rebirther, so I do a lot of conscious connected breathing. And that means you fill up the bathtub, you go in the bathtub with a snorkel, and get under the water as much. You know this, Tarika? You get under the water as much as you can, possibly lay down in the fetal position with the snorkel out of the water and stay in there for 30 to 45 minutes doing connected breathing. So after I've sprayed all the urine all over me, I just go into the water and it purifies the water. All the urine is going to neutralize and sterilize your city water. So it becomes a moot point after a while.
Wow. Awesome.
So, I mean, you get very creative when you're using your water. It'll guide you in all kinds of ways you hadn't thought of. And every one of the protocols that I've been showing you, all the different supplies, the tools, this one, the nebulizer, the eye cups. Did I start talking about this guy the other day?
Yeah.
It's called the nasaline. And I've been studying Samuel Cohen for the last 5 or 6 years. And he's the guy he mastered drinking urine through the nose. And he learned it from his guru, Kelly Rao, who was in England. They met in India. And he got really good at not only drinking urine through the nose, he drinks carrot juice, coconut water, wine, all kinds of stuff. And he's been known to go out in public where there's like a trance dance or a concert going on, and he'll start drinking it up the nose in public. Well, I'm going, okay, there's a way to drink it up your nose so it doesn't like splash all over you. And it goes behind the bone, the zygoid process bone, and goes down the throat that way. So I came across this, right? It's called a nasaline. I don't have the box here. It comes in a carrying case like this.
He's showing how you can shoot the urine up your nose.
Is that Rebecca?
Huh?
Yeah. So what you do with this, it holds 60 milliliters. You get it on one side, squeeze the other side. Now, it's what Samuel teaches is you want to keep some in your mouth. So that forces it behind your brain bone and goes down behind the throat. So we just pop it in really fast up one side, and majority of it will go up into your brain and down the back there, and it takes 3 seconds. Instead of like drinking it through the nose, it's a fast way to do it until you learn how to do the other methods. You have a question? This thing's on Amazon. It runs for about $15. Watch that. So it's called Nasaline.
You and I talked about your camera.
Rebecca, are you talking and you want to talk or mute, or what's going on?
I'm so sorry. I need to mute and I don't see where to do that.
There's a toolbar on the bottom, and maybe on the left, you look for the microphone symbol.
Oh, sure enough. Thank you so much. Sorry about that.
Oh, no worries. All contributions accepted. So the reason I'm pitching the up the nose thing is because most people have calcified pineal glands. They can't seem to access this infinite intelligence, the third eye point. And so in order to do that, you can't access it through a neti pot. Everyone's going, well, I do a neti pot. You guys know what I'm talking about? One of these guys? All right, so they're fine for cleaning from one nostril to another nostril, but it doesn't go up into the brain and it doesn't hit the sinuses. And most people have dried out sinuses, these 5 regions. So by using it up the nose, you rehydrate your sinuses, you decalcify the pineal gland, and it's awesome. Even if you don't have any of these tools, to just snort it off your hand. So at some point during the day, you find yourself, your brain start getting lagging, your energy seems to slow down, you can't seem to do follow-up or get motivated. Get some up your nose, and you'll notice things start coming online again. Yay?
Yay.
Thank you. So see if you can start experimenting with nasal breathing, nasal drinking, any way you can. And if you need some help, ask me. Jess, go ahead.
Yeah, I just have a question. So is that with the nasal link, is that a lot harsher because it's faster than, how we do it, this way, and kind of take it slow? But if you're pushing it in, is that like harsh at all, or, just curious?
Well, it takes a little getting used to. The harshness is the same thing that happens when you hit a dried sinus. There's a sting at first because your body has to readjust.
Yeah, I've had a lot of relief doing I do the Samuel Cohen method with just a mason jar, and I started working on my technique of sort of making a suction in my mouth, pulling it through my nose, having it sort of drop down the back of my throat into my mouth, and then drinking it down. And it's been giving me loads of relief in the morning.
Mhm.
And I want to start doing it, more throughout the day. Just like you were saying earlier about the saturation dosing and the looping throughout the day, it's essential for me to get that feedback, not just in the morning time, but at all times of the day. And I think that is one of the things that I can attribute to the vitality and clarity that I have throughout all these transitions that we have in life and everything that's coming at us, every day. So,
yeah. So if you approach it in a way that it's built into your lifestyle, some people call us fanatics. I'm sure they have all kinds of lovely adjectives to describe us as. But I'm constantly returning to it throughout the day. It's almost like what we're doing symbolically is trying to get back inside mom. Recreate our original state of divinity in our heaven, which was in the womb when we were like fish, living off our urine, living off mom's love and energy coming through to us. That's still accessible. And so if you think of urine as your prevention and your cure, then you'll maintain it a lot more throughout the day. And it won't be just like a serving, which some people approach this subject as. Right, Tarika? Not just a serving.
No, it's Tarita actually. With a
Tarika,
T. Yes. No, my take on the nose, it's a bit different because now here in Slovenia it's still summer, the end of summer, and I go swimming a lot, yeah? So I get loads of seawater inside. But unfortunately, my ears are sort of too connected to the whole thing. So if I try to get stuff up my nose too fast, then my ears start hurting. So I don't snort even more in much. I just keep it like, you know, a little bit in and that's it. But I like drinking it throughout the day. So I always got
Container.
something, yeah. And I have like for when I go to work and things, I have a one of those plastic ones that close really well, but you can open quickly and just drink. And it's dark, and it's got like a ceramic inside, so it's not plastic, because then plastic and the potency of urine, yeah, gets sort of starts reacting probably. And I think it's like the best thing is drink it always from glass. Never try anything else. I mean plastic, because you were even showing the plastic, yeah, in the shower. I try to get glass ones, even big ones. So it's and my collection of big jars of urine is sort of like in the corner of the balcony. So it's as you know, not really hidden, but you know, it's not in the center of attention, yeah. Because if you go too close there, there is a bit of smell to it, yeah. Because I just put a cheesecloth over it, so it still breathes, but it's protected for all the animals that fly around and everything else, yeah. And I told you I've been doing it now for 2 years, yeah, more or less, and I've got urine that is about 2 years old. That's the best that I have so far. And I was bummed last time because I was a bit thinking about other stuff while I was trying to do something, and I poured some fresh one in the oldest one that I have. That was a really small portion of it, yeah. And then I was just thinking about something else, and I poured fresh over it. So now it's really diluted, yeah. And I mean, I've got lots of other jars, but this one was like the oldest one that I had, and I really was bummed that I sort of diluted it so much with the fresh one. And enemas, yes, I haven't been a fan ever of enemas, but I have started doing urine enemas when I started with the enzyme cleansing as well. So I said I don't want to do the water. I might try the coffee one, but I was definitely sure I was going to do the urine one, and it was great. And I use like the syringe that you have like for the nose. I use something similar, and it's maybe even a bit bigger. I haven't bought a whole enema kit or anything else. I try to work with what I've got at hand, so it's not too complicated. And as you said, you try to incorporate it in your day as much as you can, you know, with your rhythm of life and, you know, the people you live. Because I haven't got a bath, I got a shower. So I can't really, you know, do anything. Yeah, even when I wash my hair, you know, or I have to go in the shower, I have to, you know, kneel down there and try to get everything on. Just about, what was it, last week, yes, I did a whole day, put loads of aged on, and then another, I think one of those cheesecloths, the big one, and then a plastic one. And I was at home all day with, you know, with the urine on and doing my stuff. So it's great. And I'm really happy to be here today because I managed to, because I have read a lot about you, listened to you, but I've never been to a Zoom like this. So to see you speak in person and get a feeling of how you are and everything. And I have to really say that I've seen older pictures of you. I don't know exactly how your life has been or everything you've been through or anything, but I can say that you look very, very, very healthy. And for your age, you look great. So I think you'll just keep going for years and years to come.
Thank you, thank you. My mother and her mother lived to be 94, so I've got longevity in my family. My father passed away at age 62, which is rather young compared to today's standards. And when I passed age 62, I knew I hit a landmark and there was no stopping me because I passed the family genetics. Eddie, go ahead.
Yeah, Sage, I was just hoping that you could discuss the differences and the benefits of fresh and evolved, and just sort of differentiate the two, and you know what one would use either or for, from your experience.
Okay. To answer the fresh versus aged, and many of you know through my books and writings, I don't call it that very much because I call it evolving or evolutionary golden plasma water. We're operating at another category of understanding our biology as well as the healing principle of the God-given water from Shiva that comes through us to turn our life around. And so we have to frame it in a way that people understand. One of the key principles of the Shivambu wisdom chart, Rebecca, I got to send that to Rebecca, the chart. I got to send the chart to Rebecca. One of the first principles is that Shivambu is an intuitive medicine. I'd rather call it an elixir because medicine implies medical. So it's an intuitive elixir, which means you have a built-in intuition and guidance systems which will direct you how to use it, when to fast, in any possible way your life is designed. So fresh urine, of course, is the fresh collected. You just pee, you collected it, that's considered fresh. Evolving urine, nobody has yet to determine how to measure what stage of its maturing and growing is considered aged urine. John W. Armstrong in 1944, his idea was 4 days was considered aged urine. When I went to the Water of Life Symposium in Las Vegas in 2018, Dr. Rosalind Hansen suggested that it was 9 months because that was the gestation period. So you can see there's a lot of wiggle room here. So how you determine it is how you determine it. But the potency is what people are going for. Most of the people in the world who do the evolving urine will tell you it feels stronger, it feels more potent, they could feel a big difference in it. So determining which one to use is going to be personal. A lot of people blend the two because, you know, taste-wise or smell-wise, whatever they blend the two. So whichever way you want to use it is fine. The only challenge people have with using the evolving urine is that if you put it in sensitive membrane areas like up your nose or in your bum, there might be a 3-second sting. Anybody ever experienced that? So this is that's what pulls people back from using evolving urine, because it might be a little uncomfortable and it only lasts like 3 seconds. So there's also the research that people are doing into stem cells being increased, antibodies being increased, nutritional profile being increased by switching to the evolving urine. So it's going to be personal choice, whichever one you use. Some people don't even barely use fresh anymore because they've moved over to the evolving side. And I think they both have a potency and value to us. Does that answer your question? You're muted, Eddie.
Yeah, thank you, Sage. You did answer my question. I would say more recently I've been called to utilize aged internally. I've done it a lot topically. And I haven't read personally any of Harry Matadine's literature. I know he's written extensively about it, but that's exactly where I'm going with it. Is I'm just kind of letting my own intuition guide me there. And yeah, so thank you.
And that's a big part of it. When people reach out to you, particularly people who have a very difficult health challenge, you can feel their desperation. You can feel their pulling for help, salvation, answers, et cetera, et cetera. And the folks like us who've been doing this for quite some time, we have a lot of confidence and certainty that this water can produce results for them. And that's what they're looking for, somebody who's got the confidence that will be transferred to them, so they can feel safe enough taking this practice, taking this path, and not have to worry about their health declining, but only improving. So the more you can bring your faith to the conversation, the better you can help relax their mind about the challenges they're going through. Everybody breathe. Woo.
I would like to hear, if it's okay, from Tatarina, how she does age. What's your favorite way of utilizing your aged urine? It sounds like she has
Yeah.
2 years aged urine. That's awesome.
I actually, for now, I use it topically. I don't drink too much of it because I don't have that much yet, really aged 2 years. So I rather leave it there because I see it's also evaporating the water slowly. Yeah, so it's getting, it's just the dose is getting smaller and smaller. But I do use it every morning to clean my face, sort of. I put it on a cotton pad, and then first I leave it for a couple of minutes here like this, so it's just stuck here. And then I clean my face, all of it in the neck, and then whatever is left on, I do my legs as well, just pull it up my legs. So it just absorbs on the skin, and then it's because I've got 2 teenage daughters, yeah. So having a mom that is, doing a lot of age urine, it's not really, their cup of tea. And then my glasses, for the fresh one, they are close to the toilet and the sink, yeah. Sometimes I forget them full there, yeah. Sometimes I forget them for a day there, so it starts smelling. So I've got them going, ah. So I'm basically haven't really dived into it a lot, just because I have this sort of, I'm glad they're not too bump, or I don't know, throwing away my urine or anything like that. Teenagers can be unpredictable, yeah, or whatever. And so for now it's just topical, yeah.
That's amazing. I love that. I need to start also, like Ed was saying, I'm transitioning into exploring with my aged urine more because I do see the benefits are way better. The furthest I've gone, though, is only a month and a half. But even at a month and a half, I did, like, my tooth was hurting and I did a whole mouth washout with a month and a half old urine, and my pain's been gone. It took the pain away. And I drank like a little bit of it, and it was harder to drink. So I would mix it with tea or fresh oranges, and but man, the healing properties was just so much better that I was sad when it was gone. So I need to age more and get it like to that further. Maybe I'll just do the topical use with it and see how that also affects everything. But that's awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, I used to do also, like, in the morning, I put it in a dropper, and I used to do eye drops, because Harry also, yeah, said that in the morning, put a couple in one couple in the other one, instead of, just staying there with something on them. But, when you start doing things, you have so many things to do, like in the morning before you get out. You have to do this, you have to drink enough water in the morning, you hope you go to the toilet, you hope to do this. So it's like 2 hours in the morning, new preparation between drops and drinking this. It just goes so fast, yeah. So I usually get the weekends where you can be more, relaxed, and then you can think about other ways of using it and incorporating into everything. I like to do, like, smoothies. I would pour the fresh one in instead of pouring the water. And it's just perfect and great. So I'm really glad, like, because I work, a couple of times a week, I drive a van around. Yeah. So it's with all these drinks, even if I don't have anything to drink, because I have my bottle, yeah, I can, stop anywhere, just pee, and then have it with there, and, even I teach a couple of times a week as well, yeah. And I've got this always on my desk, yeah. A student asks me, what have you got in there? Grappa, or some no, some juice, my juice.
That's amazing. That's inspiring to me because, at the university, I would just want to go have my pee on my desk. See what they think of that. But, you know, I was actually at the airport and something happened with my plane, and I ended up being at the airport for 6 hours, and I just went and asked one of the food court the people, can I just have a cup with a little bit of ice? And I just went to the bathroom and had my urine because I'm like, this is going to help me more than any food product at this airport. And it did. It helped me with my stress, my energy. I felt better. It was easier to just sit in the airport for hours. So yeah, to be able to do it everywhere is just a miracle.
You know, for me, like one of the best things when I started urine therapy, it was realized I didn't do much fasting at the time either. I do that now sometimes. And it's like, even if you get stranded, lost, or whatever, anywhere, you will survive and you will be well because you've got, you know, your liquid, your sacred liquid with you all the time, all the time, all the time. So there's nothing to worry about anything. Yeah. So this is like one of the things that I really loved about this whole process, you know, for my head, like, you know, to work around the thing, you know, okay, now you're drinking your urine the whole time. Yeah. I used to apply it topically, I don't know, 25 years ago with the first morning urine. And then I just stopped. I don't know why. And I never thought about it again. But then about 2.5 years ago, I just started with this again and just made so much sense. And it's probably because of the, you know, whole pandemic, you know, stuff that was going on. Yeah. It was just something that sort of kept me grounded and thinking, you know, like everything will be okay, because even if I'm alone, I'll be okay. Nothing can, you know, get to me.
Amen.
Sort of thing. Yeah.
The fear is gone. I
Completely.
no longer fear either. I know exactly what you're saying. I feel like that for the first time too, since urotherapy. I feel like they could do whatever they want to do. My body is going to be protected and I'm going to be able to stay healthy. The second that any poisons come in, I'm going to wash them out.
Definitely. Definitely.
What's a real
That's great.
comfort to our mind, and you may have come up with this idea before. By the way, I'm still going to start calling this the armor of God. Amen. If they decide to alter, change, weaponize our food on the planet, and you've not taken the time to identify wild herbs and wild plants and berries and fruits out in the wild, which you should be doing by now, as long as you can pee and cup your hands, you can thrive on planet Earth. How's that for some security right there? So at least you got that going for you in your you know, in your bag of tricks. You can always rely on your water. And it's another metaphor that the answer is within. The healing is within. The prosperity, the connection is within. And we're having to relearn that through the many different ideas we got from our family and from society, to unlearn that, to realize that you were created in the image of the Creator, which is perfect. And that includes supplying yourself with everything you need. Amen.
Amen.
And see, we have church every day. Gloria and I were kidding about that. Every day seems to be Sunday, a church day.
I love it.
So do I. You guys got any other questions you want to talk about or bring up in conversation? How are you able to talk to the newbies, the ones that are skeptics and doubters? Do you have any kind of approach to them? Or you just follow your guidance and you say what you intuitively feel like saying and hope for the best? Or how do you approach that subject?
I try to speak of research, and I have a unique relationship with Dr. Group and Jonathan Otto, who everybody wants to call Dr. Otto, but he's not a doctor. But, you know, they have so much knowledge. Jonathan not only learns from Dr. Group, but he learned from Dr. Buttar, who has, you know, he built his whole, they won't let him have they wouldn't let him have a cancer, his urotherapy cancer facility in the US. So he had to go take it, you know, to another country. But so I tried to also mix it with my personal testimony. and the research and prayer. And just like you said before, we can't force anybody. So that's all I've learned, because it really hurt a lot, because all I want to do is help people heal. I mean, that's the only intention I have. So it was hurting in the beginning, like, but then I've learned when I transitioned through my healing, because it was so weird coming out of the vaccine injured world to a vaccine healed world. And so then through that transition, though, I've learned that there are people, though, that want this information so bad and that are willing to have the trust and faith, and they feel that instinct inside of them. And then so they're willing to try urotherapy. And so those, I've had to refocus my energy on, you know, people that actually do want to know.
Yeah, one of the first longer testimonials that I heard about urine therapy was actually an interview Dr. Rube did on UNN, and he talked about the whole history, how he was involved in the COVID studies at the beginning, and how he realized that it was all mambo jumbo. And he talked about the whole history of urine therapy. He always talked about Romans, how they were washing their clothes with it, and you know, they were one of the most prestigious, not prestigious, richest family in Rome at the time. But about the snake poison, or people, you know, drinking their urine straight after being bit by a snake, and you know, they survived and it was okay. So with this one, I really realized how big this thing is and how much it has been covered up, you know, because it's too easy. It's too easy. It's so easy. It's unbelievable. Yeah, you have everything you need with you the whole time. Yeah, the whole time. So it's everything else is just, you know, blah blah blah. It's background noise. Just, you know, yeah, you don't need it because you're here, you know, with everything you've got, and that's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So when people come up to me and they say, well, don't you know it's a disgusting waste product? The first thing out of my mouth is, where did you get that idea from? Because you come to find out most people just repeat what they were told and they don't do any deep diving or any research. And sometimes I'll get a little more radical with them. I say, well, what if the medical profession, which you know is not our friend and is not looking out for, you know, the best interest for humanity, what if they lied to us? Have you ever considered that? You know, and I can go into research, and it all started in 1917. You guys might know this. 1917 was the establishment of the Rockefeller Foundation. And it was then they wanted to control the entire health industry worldwide. And in order to do that, they'd have to get rid of the competition, which is us. So they started demonizing all alternative healthcare practices. But what they couldn't count on is that now 120 years later, more people are giving up on the medical profession and seeking alternative healthcare practices, modalities, naturopaths, herbs, essential oils, urine therapy. So you guys couldn't be in a better time in human history than to be able to start talking about this and putting it on those platforms, because people are going to start seeking you out more and more because they're hearing about urine therapy. It's showing up on their radar. Loud voices like Dr. Group, Otto, myself, Gloria, and so forth are not being shy about this subject.
Yeah,
Yay.
I think when I started to talk to people about it, the first thing I would say, did you know, like, we were born in it, you know, your mother's womb. It's the same thing. So people kind of start becoming more aware. And then you start bringing up stem cell, like everybody are interested in stem cells somehow. So they just, you know, are willing to listen when you bring that up to them more. So like a lot of my conversation always kind of start like, yeah, did you know, we're born in it. And I start talking to them about the stem cell part. And then they start becoming more interested and then forget about, oh, urine is a waste part. Because then all of a sudden, there's something clicked in their mind, like, oh, that's what it is, you know. So yeah.
Yeah, and you can ask them, you know, at age 20, at like 21 to 23 weeks, after the kidneys and the bladders are starting to develop in the fetus, I mean, you can ask them, what do you think the baby does in there? Don't you think the baby might pee, and where will it go? It's a self-contained womb. this water bubble, this water world. And you know, anybody can do the research, and it'll tell you that amniotic fluid, it consists mostly of the baby's urine.
Yeah.
And every baby, I don't know if I had this talk with you, Gloria, but every baby comes out beautiful and healthy until they're run through the medical system. And this is why over the many, many years, you see kids with autism, mongoloid children, disabled kids. Shouldn't be that way. It's totally unnatural.
You know, I was pregnant twice, yeah, and both times I was already 34 the first time and 36 the second time, and they do a test, yeah, to tell you, let's say, if your kid is going to have Down syndrome. I mean, how big is the percentage, you know, it might happen. And so some things are genetic, let's say, yeah, but everything else, yeah, basically starts from the moment they start breeding. Yeah, they come out into the world, and you know, get jabbed. I don't know how many times in America, but I think it's I don't know, 4 times as much as what we get over here in Europe, at least in Slovenia. So it's like you've got this load of heavy metals and all that other disgusting stuff, yeah, piled up, and you know, your body, some bodies just can't take it. It's too much for them. You know, some are not as strong as some other ones, and it's just unbelievable, you know, how you take your child there, because I had them vaccinated as well. At the time, I had no idea, you know, what, you know, the whole scam behind everything we basically live in nowadays. Yeah, everything has a backstory, or 1 or 2 or 20 behind it. Yeah, so it, um, thank God my kids are, you know, strong, because my their father is also, you know, a big guy, and he's strong, and we have never had really health issues. Yeah, so I'm blessed with this fact. But I see a lot of other people or friends, you know, that have kids that are disabled in, you know, different ways, and I just know it's because of, you know, the vaccine. It's like 95% of the time, probably 98 or 99, there is still that little percentage, you know, that it's genetic, or you know, something that happened in the hospital or during labor. But the rest is just due to all these chemicals and all the other stuff that we ingest, breathe, put on ourselves, and you know, think also. Yeah, so it's unbelievable.
Yeah, and we're even, I would also even include the psychological damage that happens in hospitals. I've been a student of rebirthing, Sandra and Leonard Orr, for 40-something years. And we dug into what happens when the baby is taken away from its source of love, which is mom. I mean, if they don't put you right on the mom and create the bonding, you know, at that point, what do? Is they wrap the baby in a rough little blanket, they put him on a cold scale, they put him in a room of strange babies, all scared and hopeless. I mean, there's the emotions and the thoughts that come from the hospital and the nursing staff, how well they handle the baby. I mean, there's a lot of things that take place.
Even just cutting the umbilical cord so fast, so soon, it's just, you know.
Yeah. So they traumatize us from the get-go. This is why people started doing water birthings, home birthings. They brought in doulas, they brought in midwives, and that should still be carrying on today. Hopefully in you know, everyone's country, they still practice that.
It's so true about what you just said about the umbilical cord. I was, for the first time in my life, saw research on that, and how the baby is supposed to get all the nutrients from the placenta. And the doctors actually use that placenta for their own experiments and for their own things. Yeah, money. And I have a close friend who's sister to me, and she's pregnant. I told her about this, so she's like telling her doctor that that's what she wants the baby to get, all the nutrients before they cut the placenta. And I know somebody else that has done that in the past, told the doctor, no, don't cut it. The baby got all the placenta. And the nurse that doesn't know what's going on with the placenta, is she went to go put the placenta in the bag that they take for the research. And the doctor's like, no, that's not necessary. Like, they didn't want the placenta anymore. It just shows.
Yep, they have another agenda.
Mm-hmm.
So more and more people are been pulling away from the medical industry, and you know, whatever we can do to offer some kind of answers to people and comfort them at a time when everybody seems to be in anxiety and fear overload. It'd be nice to offer something to help people to soften what the world has been throwing at them, so we can you know, get on with our lives in a way that's going to be comforting and nurturing for us and our families. And urine therapy seems to be an answer to a lot of people. The people who come in my life, they are so glad they found urine therapy. They wish they had years ago, but the timing wasn't right. The people who come to this path, they seem to have gotten the call. You know, the ones who really embrace this, they didn't have to go through a lot of shifts in their perception. They did not have to do a lot of mental gymnastics. They go, oh, I trust you. Gloria drinks it. You know, Tarita, Eddie, we all drink it, so it must be totally okay. And I hope more and more people, that's my intention, more and more people realize that we got it right, and they're coming to find out why our lives are working.
Amen. Because it's the magic bullet.
We got the magic bullet, and you don't have to brand it. So we're going to continue doing these on Fridays unless something comes up for me. I'm going to keep these building on this. Let me make a couple more announcements before we get to a close here. Something exciting, I started to have a conversation with our buddies Jess and Eddie about putting together the Shivambu Lifestyle Store. Did I tell you about this, Gloria? Tarita? The idea is to have a one-stop shopping website for people who want to get all their protocol equipment, their supplies. We also have novelty items that will either have one of the two slogans, which I was fortunate to get a copyright from. One of the slogans is urine therapy does the body good. And the other slogan is, thank you, Nike, just drink it. And so we're going to have novelty items. There's a brilliant artist over in the Grand Canyon who's designed this Shivambu decal in holographic 3D. And we're going to start producing that on shirts and pillowcases and all kinds of level novelty items. So it's going to be a one-stop shopping store. You can get urine therapy books. You can link up with different teachers and get consultations from me. And so when we're ready to launch that and bring out in the world, you'll hear about that. We still have the Water Family Directory, which is designed so anybody can find a teacher where they live, or suggest somebody, find somebody close to them in their country. So we're producing as much as we can for the infrastructure of this entire movement, so people have resources, supplies. Another thing I was going to mention is a good way to present urine therapy to people that takes you out of the spotlight is to let them know that there are books on the subject that you can buy and you can gift to people. This was the one that started my journey, Healing Water from Within. This is the second edition, which has newer content, thicker book, et cetera, et cetera. And the Manual for Urine Therapy Teachers and Therapists is the textbook for the courses that I teach for anybody who wants to really get well-versed in urine therapy, not only the benefits, the nutrients, the history, the sessions, how to create a general suggestion, how to answer the doubters, how to bring comedy into the conversation, and the future of urine therapy movement, where we're going. So sometimes it's just a good idea. I have found a way that you guys can buy all my books at 40% off and have them shipped to anybody on the planet. If you're interested in doing that, reach out to me. And anybody else want, that's it for the announcements. Anybody else want to announce something? Now would be a good time to do that. Awesome, awesome. So we're going to do a close like we always do. We'll do a little group hug. Oh, wait a minute. Rebecca, hold on. Rebecca. All right, Rebecca, reach out to me by either cell or that email I sent you, and I'll get some books your way. Thanks for coming by, guys. I love each and every one of you. You're just near and dear water family.
We love you too, Brother Sage. Thank you so much for having this. Love you guys.
Joy, and I'll have this up and posted shortly, and you guys it'll be available on my YouTube channel.
Great.
Have a great afternoon or morning, you guys.
Bye.
Aloha.